How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Jung Gi. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. Wow. I don't know how I haven't talked about his stuff before. I've been a fan of his for quite some time. I really love his work. I think he has a really interesting way of looking at perspective and really great line work as well, a great inking style. I've seen a couple videos of the way that he works, and he really just there's hardly like an underlying sketch or anything. He just has the idea in his head and then just pours it out on paper, almost starting from sometimes like the tip of the finger down to the bottom of the foot, not even looking at it's just a really interesting workflow that he has, and a true master of his craft. I love his stuff. I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I'll throw some links in the description below, but let's take another look at some of these amazing pieces and look at all the amount of detail that he throws in there, and everything really feels like it's on point. There's no wonky perspectives or anything in here either. Great anatomy, interesting posing, great silhouette here. If you darken this all out, you'd still be able to get a lot of information on there just from the silhouette alone. I like his characters. I think he really brings to life some personality and through his posing and just his style as well. Really interesting stuff. I love these guys right here. I think they're great, and really directing the eye towards these crabs, I believe, and the skillet. Great stuff. Beautiful work. So like I said, I urge you guys to take a second out of your day and check out some more stuff from him. I'll throw some links in the description, but look at these perspectives. The amount of detail he throws in there. Love his stuff. I did want to share a quote with you guys I was able to find from an interview that he did, and he said, "I try to focus on the image I see in my brain." I think there's two parts to that, really. One is to really try and get those skills as honed in as you can from, your spirit or the original idea that you have to your head, to your body, to your fingers, or whatever you use for whatever it is that you're working on, to whatever tools you use to get that out, and then out into how you share it with that world. That whole connection should be as strong and as seamless as you can get it, and try and hone that so that your attitude doesn't get in the way, your physicality doesn't get in the way, the tools don't get in the way, and you can just try and get that focus, and the skill is there enough to do that. And then the other side is to work that muscle in your brain, that creativity, that imagination, so that if you have a cloudy idea, you can't expect to get it out on paper perfect. You have to really hone it in as tight as you can before anything even starts. I find that the more that it seems to swing one way or the other. It's either complete freedom of don't have an idea, just sit down and see what comes out. That's sometimes really fun. But the other times where I'm trying to get something and I don't really think it all the way through from the beginning, I tend to find that it's not as strong as something if I sit down and I either thumbnail it out or really just spend a while meditating or mulling over the idea in my head before I get started too. So let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Felix rig, part of the External Worlds collection of rigs from davidO'Reilly.com. I'll throw a link in the description below if you guys want to play around with this one as well. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of the video, give ourselves around 48 frames, 2 seconds of animation, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Usually not. I think 2 seconds is the minimum. I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. Like I said, it's a free resource for you guys to play around with as well. And we kind of go from there, a little bit of over the shoulder, just hang out with me while I animate, a little bit of talking through the process. But most of all, the main goal of doing these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to go off and create your own amazing, unique, creative content each and every day. So you're taking another step in your journey, working towards your dreams, and never giving up. Because I love you guys lots, and I believe in you. You can do it. Go out and create something. Now let's start and get playing. So, contrary to what I was talking about a moment ago, because my brain's a little fried. I'm working on another project, and it took about twice as long as I thought it was going to take for some of it today. But I knew one thing when I saw this rig. I wanted him to be bouncy. So let's focus on that being our main goal. But first of all, let's come up with a more interesting pose if we can here. And I think we can. So let's come up with a more fun storytelling pose. Let's go ahead and puff his chest out here. And rotate it off in the hips here. And let's tilt the neck a little bit forward. And the head a little more up here as well. And we'll tweak that a little more there. And let's do more bent arms and do more of a clench on the wrist as well. Or on the fingers, rather. Like I said, brain's a little fried today, apologies. But that's not going to stop us from getting a video out every day, no matter what the attitude is. We gotta continue working on our dreams. Just working on one of the books that I'm working on right now. Normally would be about an hour and a half for time allotment that I would think for what I was working on for the piece I was working on today, and it ended up going almost 3 hours. But I think there were some could have cut it shorter and let the quality not be as good. But I figured that's not what I want to be about, especially in any illustration work. I know for sure that I tend to have a higher gamut of what I'll allow to go out in any regard for that. Unless it's just a quick sketch or whatever, that's fine. But so let's keep going here. Well, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit more. We're just creating some hand poses anyway, so it's not like it's that in depth. But one thing I've been focusing on, or kind of meditating about, or just thinking about a lot, is growth and not stagnating. And so whenever those opportunities come where you can choose to let something sit where it normally would be, or you can push through it and try and make it a little bit better, or push yourself to that uncomfortable level like we talked about yesterday about, if you're not feeling uncomfortable, you're not really growing or pushing forward or any of that kind of stuff. So trying to find that uncomfortableness in your art day so you're always going a little bit further than you did before. Just something to kind of think about. I know for myself, I've seen a couple of those what they call kind of growth opportunities. I guess is one way to look at it rather than frustrations or headaches, but opportunities of where you can get better or not. So I think this will be okay for us. Like I said, I really want to try and make it some extra bounce in those hips. So let's start off somewhere like this. We're going to just stick with a walk cycle, probably stick with 12s, maybe a little bit slower. Probably around 12. Let's make sure we just have NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons selected. We'll go ahead and grab everything, save our file real quick. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. For more information on that and all the wonderful things we've talked about before, check out the links in the description below. Go ahead and save our file. And we'll grab everything and set our first key. And just since I haven't mentioned it in a while, the reason that I use Autodesk Maya 2014 instead of the wonderful new version 2015, or I believe 2016 is out too. It's been a little while since I used it. But the reason that I personally do that is, I guess I'm working on 14s. Okay, it's fine. It's going to work on 12s, but we'll see. So that'll give us 56. Just because it's a little bit less system resource heavy, so I find that I get a better frame rate for while I'm recording as well. And I use XSplit in case you're interested and want to try something. I find that one worked very well for getting a decent frame rate, at least with the machine I have. You guys probably have super beast machines. Mine's probably, I like it. I think it's great. I'm appreciative for everything I have. Right. Let's go a little bit faster. Yeah, I think 12s was probably spot on. So, window, animation editors, graph editor, and I'm a little rambly today, it seems. But I think it's just because I've been staring at the same thing for quite a bit, so good to get a change of pace here. And bring that back. And we'll go to just 48 frames. Let's see. think I want to try and do a double bounce, which would be down, let's see, down, up, down, up, down, up. So instead of just being up and down on the passing position and the contact, we do an extra up and down on each one. Now, we'll have to be careful that we're not going too much because it'll look a little too zany if we have too much movement in there. No offense to anyone named Zane, just using the word. And go back to where we were, so let's see. Okay, let's balance that out a little better, and we'll do a big one and a small one, so we have a little bit of variation throughout there as well. So let's try and get it all back. And we're gonna scale them all back a little bit as well. Not like we need nearly as much movement overall through here. This one is always a fun one. I always like the double bounce in there. Now let's see how it feels. And maybe we'll cut them back even more. Let's see. And we'll do 6, 12. Let's see. See, so I was thinking maybe we'll go a little bit slower. Okay, so maybe let's switch everything back to 14s again, because I think it's just a little too fast. So, grab everything here, we'll go 14 there, and then 28 there, 42, 42 here, and then 56. I can get a little bit more time to get into those up and downs here, so let's see. Alright, and we gotta clean up those translate Y's then. So, all of those to be, let's see, 14, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. Alright, now let's go 4 frames here. 4 frames, and then we'd hit it 7, and then go 3 frames here, and then we go 14, then we go 4 frames, and then we go 3 frames. This way we have a little bit better timing set up here. 4 frames, and 3 frames, 4 frames, and 3 frames. Let's delete that. I don't know where that came from. So let's see. Actually, let's raise that up a little bit more. Let's see. And we'll add a little more down here, a little more up. Just keep tweaking this till it feels right. The first one feels like it might be a little too much down. So let's see. What if we gave ourselves 16 frames? We slowed it down a little bit more and then made it a little bit bigger. So we'll have to reevaluate some stuff, but we'll get there. Okay, so where we have it 14, we want that to be 16. And then what we had at 30, we want that to be 32. And then what we had at 46, we'd want that to be 48. And then 64. So I want to make these bigger, but I don't want them to be so jerky, so I'll slow it down a little bit more. Alright, and let's look at those translate Y's and redo them again. That's right. Well, that should be at 8. And then at 16. 16, 30, okay, yep. So, let's look at those translate Y's again. So we have our 8, 4, 8, 12, 16. So 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, so it's every 4 frames. 44, 52, 56, 60, and back. So let's see. Let's exaggerate the up and down more. So let's see. Okay. Feels alright. It's not great, but it's workable. And let's look at the feet. Let's lock them in here. And let's get those passing positions built in. So lift that up. We'll do bigger steps since we have longer time there. And same over here. Do bigger steps there. Steps again, so let's see. Right, and let's look at the feet. We'll drag them back here, lift them up there, and plant them. Drag them back there, lift them up here, plant them. And look at this foot, and we'll drag it back, lift it up, and plant it, and drag it back. Lift it up and plant it. So let's see. I think I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit more. Probably even go a little bit more. Let's see, our neighbor's lawn guy decided to mow his lawn right now. Woohoo! Thanks. Thanks, guy. And let's take our translate Y. We'll bring it down a little bit more. Let's see. And I'll push it forward just a little more and see. I'm trying to find that balance. It felt like a little front heavy or back heavy, but let's see. Alright, and let's look at the toes here. We'll drag the toe back there. Lift it up. Flatten it out, drag it back there, lift it up, flatten it out, get the hiccups, got it, done, awesome. And drag the toe back there, lift it up, and flatten it out here, and then we'll drag the toe back here, lift it up, and flatten it out. Okay, so let's see that now. Let's start loosening stuff up even more here. Alright, so we're going to go 8, push our hips over. That'll be fun. Actually, I might do something like that in a minute. And push that over. Where'd it go? 24 is there. There we go. Over and back. Alright. And scale that back quite a bit. Even it out a little bit more. And let's see how we're doing. Alright. And let's do a little bit. Save our file real quick. It's always good to save multiple versions and to save often, just in case. And let's twist to favor the front planted foot. Back again. Back again. Back again. And back to where we were. Let's see. Starting to look pretty loosened up a little bit there now. Slowing down the timing though, you have to increase stuff so you don't really lose the make the stuff feel too slow, but give you enough time to hit where you need to hit. My experience. Alright, and let's do a little bit of rotate Z here so we lean into that planted foot. 24, 40, 56, and back to where we started. And let's clean those up and tone them down as well. And let's see how we're doing here. Okay, and let's look at the chest. So we're going to rotate a little bit in X here to give us that little bit of twist to favor the front arm here, which is opposite from favoring the front leg here on the hips. And we'll go back the other way, and back this way, back the other way, and back to where we started. Alright, and let's clean that up a bit more and balance it out. I don't mind a good amount of this though. I think I'm probably going to scale it back a little too far. Well, let's see. That's alright. Okay, and then let's go in the middle here. Do a little bit there, over here, over there, over here, and back. And probably tone those down a bit more. It feels like that's a little too over the top. Yeah, let's see. Okay, now one thing that kind of happened on that I kind of liked was doing a little bit of extra booty here. Swing that booty. 40. actually have it hit at 12. And make sure we just stick to, I think it's translate X there. Maybe it's translate Y on this one. Let's see. And we'll scale a little bit back. Like I said, let's have it hit its extreme a little bit after there, so it hit at 4 here. Let's exaggerate it a little bit more then. Okay, and we'll set what we have here, bring it back to the beginning. Yeah, let's see that now. And we'll scale it back a little bit more here too. And let's do a little bit of extra bounce on the booty here too. So we'll go up, down, up. And I think we're going to want to throw a double bounce in here, but I'm trying to see if it'll still be fun with just sticking to where we're at. So let's see, let's scale that back a little bit more. Yeah, if anything, I'll do double that. Okay, so let's try it at doing it on 4s instead of on 8s here. See if we like that. Because I like how the rest of the body's moving, so I might just get rid of this if we can't get it working right, because I don't want it to take away from the movement, but accentuate it. Bring that forward, another 4. Key select, and I'm just going to go this way just so I can do it in the graph editor real quick. Every 4 frames. Okay, and then we'll grab every other one here and bring those back. Like I said, this is just to kind of exaggerate the up and down that we already have built in on the hip, because this is just the butt controller. So what we might do is actually just delay it a frame so that it would hit a little bit behind where the hip would. So let's look at it now and see if we like it. And then let's delay it 1 frame. Let's delay it 2 frames, see how it feels there. And we'll throw in another one here. Let's see. And let's move it so it drags down a little bit more and accentuate or tone down the up here. Let's exaggerate it some more. Let's keep playing. And let's do a little bit of let's see. Rotate Z here. this so we don't have as much for when it loops back in there. Okay, let's see. We got a little groove going on in that booty. Okay, let's look at the arms now. Just do a little bit of swing there. Back further there, forward there, back here. Like I said, we're not going to do a whole lot with these arms, just a little bit of a swing there. I think we'll do a little bit further back here, and a little less forward. Let's see. Let's go to the other side. And go a little bit back there. A little bit more here. Forward there. Back here. And back to where we started. Let's see. I'm getting mean bouncing. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe you guys are different than me, but sometimes if I'm like doing an expression, when I'm drawing, doing an expression on a face, I tend to find that I'm doing that same face, or if I'm animating something, I tend to make sound effects with it, or bounce along with it, or I just tend to, I guess, get into the work. I think that's, for me, it's fun, and I realize that I don't even do it on purpose either. So let me know what you guys think, if you end up doing that, or if you think it's weird, or any of that kind of stuff. Let's see. Do a little bit of movement in there. And I'm pretty sure I goofed that up, so let's clean that up here. Not too bad. Along the lines of what I wanted to do. Just a little bit of movement in that forearm. We don't need a lot. Let's see. Way too much up, so we'll scale that back down. I think this needs to be a little bit further back, so we get a little bit of that negative space there in between the back and the arm there. And I think I'm just going to universally pull this down a little bit more. Alright, like I said, it's not like we're doing a lot of this, but just so we get a little bit of movement in there. Back again. Yeah, let's see. Gotta invert it. These are probably too far down, those aren't enough up. So let's try that. And then for a change of pace with the hands, let's go. In a little bit here. If it'll work here for us. I think what might be fun is to do a little bit of pull inward. And then go out a little bit there. Go in a little bit here. Out a little bit there. And then back to where we were. So let's see. I think we'll already start off with it in a little bit more. let's exaggerate this one a little bit more too. Just a little bit. We don't need to do a ton of this, but just loosen up those hands a little more. Alright, and we'll go and save that. And let's look at, is there up and down on this spine here? Because that might be fun too. Just a little bit of this might be fun. Okay, we'll loosen up that belly area a little bit more. Do a little more squash and stretch in there. Again, if it's not working, we'll get rid of it, but I think it could be fun. We'll go back to where we were. Look at that, translate X. Gotta clean that up. And we just need a little bit of this just so we can loosen up that movement a little bit more. Still got the fingers and the tail and a little bit of the head to do too, and probably some more compression in the chest as well. We'll see. We'll see. This might work to give us kind of what we want with keeping the integrity of the movement. We'll see how it feels. Yeah, I think I'll do that because we don't really need to do too much compression because we already have the change of shape in the back and the tummy from doing this, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And let's just do a little bit of a swing on the tail here. Let's grab the bottom two portions of the tail and start off with it a little bit that way, 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 and back again. And let's balance that out so we're not really favoring one side over the other, which we kind of are. So let's see. Okay. And let's look at the next 3 segments of the tail. I'll start those at 8. Probably will drag it so it'll be going from that way to over there, to over this side, to over that side, and then back again. Let's see. And then we'll look at the tip of the tail, just these last 2 portions, and we'll sweep that way, and back this way, and I'm sure I'm going to switch the timing on this, but give us somewhere to start here. Let's see. So I think I want here to be the most extreme. That way, so it's flicking out. Big one I want to do. And then we come back to there. So let's see how it feels. Let's maybe push it to being at 8. tone it down a bit too. Now then 8 from there would be what, 6? So that should be 1. And this should be down there somewhere. Probably more like that, so we have a little bit more room. Let's see. And let's tone it down. It feels like it's a little too over the top compared to the rest of the tail for sure. And let's just tone down the whole thing a little bit more if we can here too. Just feels like it's a little too over the top. Maybe a little bit more there. And we'll tone down, I think, the base of the tail a little bit here too. The main movement's there, it's just finding the right amount of it. So let's see. Maybe it's just the really tip of it. Let's see. And maybe I'll just tone down this piece. And maybe we'll delay everything on this one more frame. Let's turn our nerve curves off just so we can kind of see how it plays there. Yeah, it still just feels too busy. So let's keep tweaking here. Tone everything down here. A little bit less there. And I think it's the rotate Y really. So let's keep pulling that back here. That's a lot more subtle, a lot nicer, I think. Okay, and let's go ahead and save our file. We'll do a little bit of bounce on the head. I think we'll just do this on the big ones, so we don't have so much. Back to where we were. And I think I'll put this actually at 4s. So it starts at 4. And is that right? Maybe I want to go to inverse. Let's see. We'll see here. needs to be less movement, but I think we're on to something now. We need this one at 60. Let's see. It goes down too far though. Don't like that. So let's just minimize the movement overall. And maybe we'll tilt it up a little bit more. Scale it back a little more. Got a lot of movement going on that we don't need a lot in the head, but I still want something in there. So let's see. That feels better. You can still tell that there's a little bit of tilt in there, but not a ton. And let's look at the ears here. Scale that back, and we'll add a little bit into the tips of the ears here. And we gotta hit up the fingers, and I think we'll be close to wrapping it up here. Sure, we're getting close to our time as well, so let's see. I think universally we'll want to pull this so we get a little more back. Even a little more. Alright, and let's look at the tips of the ears. And we'll want to drag them forward there, back here, forward there, back here, forward, back, forward, back, and back there. Let's see. Okay, and let's tone that down a little bit more. And I also want to do a little bit of variation in here, so I'm going to grab one of them and just kind of mix it up here a little bit more so they're not feeling so much like each other. So we can get a little bit of variation between the two ears, not a whole ton, but a little bit. And same with the bases. And where it starts. So it'll loop correctly. Again, we're keeping it in the same ballpark, but just adding a little bit of variety here so that they don't feel like they're completely the same. See how that feels. See if we can see a little bit of variety between those two ears. It's okay. You can see a little bit there. And let's look at the fingers. I'm gonna save our file here real quick. And what we're gonna do on, so now we'll stick with the same thing. I was gonna have a little bit of in and out drag, but I think I'll do it. What I can typically do here. Swing them down that way, up here, down there, up here, and back again. And it's probably too much, so scale it back a little bit more. Let's see how that feels. It's okay. And we'll take all of the mids and tips. And we'll delay those a frame. And then just take all of the tips and we'll delay those a frame so you get that successive movement. And then we'll take everything on the pinky. We'll delay it another frame. Everything on the index. And the index. We'll take everything on the index and we'll push it forward a frame. Okay, and let's see how we're looking here. Alright, and let's do a little bit on the thumb. Go a little bit down there, a little bit up, a little bit down, and back to our over, just so we get a little bit of movement there. Okay, let's save our file again, and let's take a look at the other hand. So we're going to grab all of these ones here. And we're going to do pretty similar to what we did on the other side. Alright, so 8, have them swing up, and 24 down, 40 up, 56 down, and back to where we started. And then we'll take all of the mids and tips, and we'll delay a frame, then all of the tips of the fingers here, and we'll delay those a frame, take everything on the pinky, and we'll delay a frame as well, so it follows the movement, and take everything on the index, and we'll push it forward a frame so it leads the movement a little bit. And let's look at the thumb. Go, in a little bit more there, out a little bit here, in a little bit more there, out a little bit here, and back again. And we don't have a jaw or anything, do they, to give us a jaw here? We do have a tongue. Let's do a little eye move. It's kind of fun. Different controller. Why not throw it in there? So let's move it a little bit there, a little bit there, and then we'll go there, 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 and back. Maybe we'll just try something different. So we'll keep that and we'll hold it for a little bit longer. Give us a couple frames, go here. And we'll hold that. And we'll hold close to that one, give me a little here. Just too busy with what we had before, so I'll have a little bit. Probably have a good blink though to do it. You know what? I just don't. Too much like cuckoo clock eyes, so I'll just leave them like that. It's fine. Alright. I think this guy's got a good little bouncy walk here, so let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Jung Gi, and he said, I try to focus on the image I see in my brain. So 2 great notes here. Try and build a great imagination to really fill it with ideas and thoughts. If you're a musician, listen to music all the time, you know, fill your head with different kinds of music, even if it's not something you love, but maybe it'll give you an idea of how to avoid things you dislike, or present things maybe in a different way. If you're one of the reasons why I really have fun animating, it's not as much, I'm not as worried about the outcome, just kind of having fun, but it also gets me thinking in 3D space. So when I go back to illustrating or drawing, I have more of a better view of thinking about posing in 3D space or thinking about perspective or all that kind of stuff. It just helps. So maybe if you're getting stuck in your creative world, try using a different kind of medium, even if it's just for a half an hour or something, just to get your brain thinking in a different way. And then the other one is try and clean that pathway from your imagination and the things that you come up with and your ideas to putting it out and sharing it with other people. And that means that you really have to try and focus on a lot of areas of your life. You know, you have to try and have good health so that you're not busy coughing and sneezing or burping or whatever it is, and it's distracting you from being able to work. You have to have good mental health so that you're not angry and frustrated, and not that you can't be, and put that to good use, but that you're able to not have that distract you from the creation process, and that you can try and keep that flow from the original idea to out at the end result as clean as you can. And then you have to continue growing and learning and reading books and everything, so that, you know, just because your best thinking has got you to this point in your life, so you want to bring other people's ideas and other people's thoughts and their processes and their workflows and all that kind of stuff into your world, so you can see maybe you don't like it, but at least it's causing you to think differently so that you can better find the method that works for you. So I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know I'm kind of getting a little rambly today, but it was definitely fun hanging out with you guys today. I had fun doing this one, switching away from doing those swims. For some reason I was not doing so well on those fish animations, but that's life. Going through, you have that 10,000 bad drawings you have to get out before that are just waiting to come out of you someday. And I think the same, with musicians. I was one more anecdote and then we'll go. I was playing guitar the other day, and I haven't really played very much in the last few years, and but it, some of it comes back pretty quick and everything too. And then my nephew was wanting to play along and everything too, and I noticed that when he plays his chords, he doesn't push his fingers down hard enough, so you get kind of a crunk, crunk, crunk rather than a blong, like you get a little bit of crust in there. And that's the same thing as with drawing and everything, or animating, or any of that kind of stuff. You just have to work through those little hurdles and those little levels. I like to kind of talk about plateaus, that you will grow and grow and grow, and then you'll hit a flat point where you kind of level off for a while, and then you'll read a new book, or you'll hear a new idea, or you'll watch someone else's workflow, and then you incorporate that, and you start growing and growing and growing until you hit another plateau. And you just have to kind of eventually try and make those plateaus not last as long if you really want to grow. I'm getting too rambly, so I love you guys lots. We'll end this. I had fun with you guys. I hope you're going out there and creating and taking another step in your journey each and every day. Remember, if you're watching this, you are the creative future. So go out there and create. Go make something. Use your imagination. Use your creativity. Use whatever you've got. Use those things you're passionate about, and make a new world. So I think that'll wrap it up before I ramble on for another hour. And we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.